Hello, everyone. I'm Braden Malsbury. Welcome to the Kinplex. You're listening to Cubs Hockey on Ustream, a production made possible by our fine sponsors like the Beefeater Steakhouse, the Medicine Hat Lodge, and Autos Are Less. Tonight's matchup featuring the hometown Medicine Hat Cubs squaring off with the visiting Cochrane Generals. The Cubs have been enjoying some time off, but it's back to work tonight in the Gas City, and they will be looking for a return to the win column after suffering a 5-4 loss to the Cochrane Generals in overtime all the way back on November the 10th. Medhat comes into this one sitting in third spot in the Heritage Junior Hockey League South Division with their 8-8-1 record. As for the Cochrane Generals, they will be trying to bounce back after losing in a shootout in Okotoks last night. Joining me in the broadcast booth here tonight is Blake Foster, and Blake, should be a pretty good matchup between these two squads. When Cochrane was here the last time, it was a pretty tight game.
It was a very tight game, and when we went down to Cochrane, Braden, we went into a shootout. It was a four-man shootout. We came out the short stick on that one, but if there's any indication, it could be a shootout tonight too.
Yes, and some lineup notes to pass along. The starting lineup for the Medicine Hat Cubs on defense. It will be Austin Gallipo and Braden Weisgerber. It appears up front. Cody Flarkowski, Josh Marshall, and Ben Fury. And in net tonight for the Medicine Hat Cubs, it will be Cole Schaefer. And he has been great all season long, almost ready to go here at the Kinplex. Starting in goal for the Cochrane Generals, it appears it will be Garrett Iverson, I believe. And he gets the nod, and it's time for O Canada with Samantha Scott.
Tonight's starting lineup. In goal for the Generals, number 31, Garrett Iverson. And your starting lineup for your Medicine Hat Cubs at center, number 10, Cody Flarkowski. On wing, number 21, Ben Ferry. On wing, number 17, Josh Marshall. On defense, number 2, Austin Gallipo. And on defense, number 3, Braden Weisgerber. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please stay standing, remove your hats, and stand for the singing of our national anthem by Miss Samantha Scott.
All right, ready to go here at the Kinplex in just a few moments' time now. Time for the starting lineup for the visiting Cochrane Generals. Austin Keller, Craig Packard, Sarah McDonald, Chris Hugo, and Daniel Bunna will be starting. Iverson is in net for the Cochrane Generals. And Blake, you know, the Medicine Hat Cubs, they've enjoyed some lengthy time off, so they should be well rested here tonight.
Yeah, they should be well rested. They had two bang-up practices, Braden, 2.5 hours Thursday night, and I think they're ready. They're rested, but they're ready.
Gallipo with the puck at his own blue line. Going to skate to center, going to chip it into Cochrane territory, chasing after it. It's Ben Fury. Fury fighting for control with Craig Packard, who wins the battle. He goes over to Austin Keller, who ships it up the gut. Cody Flarkowski now, the captain. He finds Ben Fury, who's at the Cochrane blue line. Drops it off for Josh Marshall. Marshall centering for Flarkowski. It hits a stick. And the Cubs will send it back behind the Cochrane net. Cochrane trying to start out of their own zone, but it's broken up by the Medicine Hat Cubs. Bergman, the big man at center, flips it down. Cole Schaefer's going to hang on, give it to Cody Florkowski. The Cubs keep it in a Cubs territory. Cody Florkowski throws it to the half wall for Ben Fury. Fury, he's got Josh Marshall, a 2-on-2. Fury along the half wall, deep in Cochrane territory, behind the net for Josh Marshall. Florkowski centering. No one was available. Austin Gallipo shoots, sails wide of the net. Florkowski behind the net, centering. And it's Josh Marshall, the backhand, and a save by Iverson. Tanner Mayer fires, and it sails wide of the net. Cody Florkowski behind the net. Schaefer's out of the net. Cochrane going to be heading to the sin bin in a bit when they touch the puck, but it's the Cubs controlling the play. Josh Marshall in the corner. And the Cochrane Generals have failed to touch the puck. Fury walks out front, and Iverson, he's going to make a stop. The Generals touch it, and Blake, the Cubs, going to be going to work on the power play in the early stages of this hockey game.
Yeah, Braden, Cochrane's, the Generals are going off for 2 minutes for elbowing. It's an early penalty, but mentioning you folks, Campbell is linesing with Airburn tonight, and Lightbonny is the referee.
Nathan Granito in the box for a elbowing penalty as Keegan Bartram goes to work on the power play. He has the puck at the half wall. It's Bartram, goes behind the net. Bartram has the puck now in the corner. Goes back to the point for Tanner Mayer. A little give and go with Mayer. Bartram looking for Sean McGuire, who's kind of at the side of the net. He has the puck now, walks out front. McGuire shoots at Iverson. Comes up with the glove save. Iverson just going to hang on with 18:10 left here in the first period. Still scoreless. And in the early stages of this power play, the Cubs really buzzing, Blake.
Yeah, they are. They're just giving all the guns forward and not giving the Cochrane any chance.
Florkowski won the draw, but Gallipo cannot keep it in. He chases after it in his own zone. Starting out of Cubs territory is Austin Gallipo in across his own blue line. He's going to go for a skate into Cochrane territory. He's got Fury centering for Fury. Fury trying to bang it in, but Iverson coming up with another stop. Austin Gallipo has the puck at the point. Was looking cross ice for Braden Weisgerber. Couldn't get a handle on it. Gallipo now across the Cochrane blue line. He's got Florkowski. Cody Florkowski in front. Gallipo loses the puck, goes back to the point, and chipping it away, it was Chris Hugo into Cubs territory. Puck now at center. Cody Florkowski drops it off for Ben Fury. Fury gonna go deep into Cochrane territory behind the net of Iverson. Fury takes a tumble. It's Florkowski throwing it back to the point for Mayer. Mayer pinching. He's behind the net of Iverson. Mayer was centering. Goes into the corner was Brandon Stahl. Mayer now at the half wall, fighting for control with Brett Burnt. The puck comes loose to Stahl. He fires. Iverson gets a stick on it and makes another stop as Mayer runs into Kreigel, and those two went down. The Cubs could not keep it in. Puck went back to the point for Gallipo, but he did not get a handle on it. Puck now is thrown into Cochrane territory. Iverson did not get a handle on it, as Packard will throw it all the way down the ice, and that is going to do it for the Cochrane penalty. Back to 5-on-5. It's Tanner Mayer at the left half wall in his own zone. Chips it up there for Kyler Goldade. The biscuit goes back to Cam Stock. Cross ice to Mayer. Mayer throws it off the wall to center. It's broken up by Packard, and it was Solowski throwing it in. Looked like he was offside, but the officials are going to let him play. As the Cubs have the puck at center, Mitch Heller flips it down. Iverson makes a save, steers it into the corner, and it's Craig Packard coming out of his own zone, feeds it up to the captain, Solowski, flipping it into Cubs territory. A wholesale change now for both squads. The Generals with the puck in Cubs territory. Goes back to the point for Packard. Packard throws it back there for Dunn, who shoots, hits a couple bodies in front. The puck is loose. Solowski looking for a pass, but it was broken up. Puck centered there, and the Generals scoring, and it appears it was Patrick Dove out front, just banged it home, and just like that, the Cochrane Generals strike. It's 1-0.
Yes, Braden, there was a bad clearing pass right in front of our own net, miscued. Schaefer was food on it. He didn't expect it to stay in his crease, and one of those things. Got to shake it off and come on back.
So the Cochrane Generals leading 1-0. They're being outshot 5-2, but they have the early lead. We'll have the official scoring summary in just a bit. It was Patrick Dove. The assist going to Ian McRae, and number 19, Tyson Solowski, as the Cubs work it deep in Cochrane's territory. They're trying to keep it in, and it's Cole Stevenson firing. McGuire centering for Bartram, but he cannot get a handle on it. Austin Gallipo with a big hit on Matt Dunn. Dunn takes a tumble back the other way. It was Tallis Hume firing, and Cole Schaefer is just going to hang on and get some fresh legs on the ice. And, you know, we've seen it all year long. Austin Gallipo not afraid to throw the body around.
No, he's not, Braden. He's out there. He was told to start throwing your body around or you'll be sitting. So he's doing his job.
The Generals with the puck in Cubs territory. And it is Tanner Mayer with the biscuit now coming out of his own zone. Centers for Cody Florkowski. Florkowski in across the Cochrane blue line. He fires Iverson. A pad save. Big rebound for Steve Onabigan. Puck goes back to the point for Cam Stock. Keeps it in. Puck in the corner chasing after it is Onabigan. He cannot get to it first. Craig Packard with the puck at the half wall trying to flip it out of his own zone. He does just that. Cochrane is chasing after it into Cubs territory as Mayer flips it to the half wall. Cody Florkowski with the puck at center. Just going to throw it into Cochrane territory. Ben Fury at the other half wall with the puck now. He dishes for Florkowski. Florkowski looking out front. Was trying to throw it back to the point, but Austin Gallipo is not there in time as Schaefer plays it to Gallipo. And it's Marshall now at center. He lost control of it. Mitch Heller, he's going to dish it off to a player, but it's Cochrane intercepting it, and Nielsen was able to get a shot away, and Schaefer came up with the save. Kreigel fires, hits a stick, and does not get to the front of the net as Ben Fury has the puck, or actually that is Dorian Bernhardt, and Josh Marshall with it in Cochrane territory. He goes back, was trying to go back to the point, elected to throw it behind the net of Iverson, as the Cubs not making too many pretty passes here in the early stages of this hockey game, and they trail 1-0. Corey Gosa now at 2-on-1. He dishes for Burnt, and he shoots, and they score. The Cochrane Generals, they score another goal, and just like that, it is 2-0 under 7 minutes into this hockey game. And it appears it was Brett Burnt who got the goal. And the Cubs in a hole already down 2 goals.
Well, Braden, again, that was a little sloppy play in front of Schaefer, and Schaefer didn't have a chance on that one either.
So not the start the Cubs were hoping for here at the Kinplex tonight, as they find themselves in a big hole. And it was Corey Gosen getting the goal. Brett Burnt with the assist. And it's 2-0 for Cochrane. As the Cubs want to get a goal here to get back into this hockey game, Sean McGuire speeds into Cochrane territory, takes a hit, and it's McRae throwing it off the boards. The Generals start out of their own zone. Keegan Bartram with the puck in Cubs territory, goes cross ice to Tanner Mayer. Mayer, the vet, looking for Cole Stevenson, but he cannot get his stick on it. And that will be an icing play with 12:28 left here in the first period. The Cubs down 2-0. And face-off, as I mentioned, deep in Cubs territory to the right of goaltender Cole Schaefer. Florkowski going to be lining up with Tyson Solowski. Solowski wins the draw, gets a shot away, but it was the Cubs jamming up the front of the net, so there was not a shot on net. Cochrane cannot keep it in. It's Keller looking for McRae, broken up. Cody Florkowski now. He finds Tanner Mayer. Mayer throws it up to Ben Fury, who was looking for Josh Marshall, cannot get a stick on it. Fury now with the puck at the Cochrane blue line. Marshall dancing in. Florkowski shoots and Iverson comes up with a save as Josh Marshall was sitting at the front of the net just looking for the rebound, but it was not there as Iverson coming up big once again for his team.
No, Braden, like you said, the rebound wasn't there, but he was in the open for it. He was waiting for it.
The Cubs trying to get something going to get themselves back into this hockey game as it's still early, but they're already down by 2 as Tallis Hume comes out of his own zone. Hume at center now, dishes for Andrew Bergman, trying to dance into Cubs territory. Gallipo threw a little bit of a hit. Bergman out the front of the net, cannot get a shot away, and Schaefer had to be sharp once again. The Cubs throw it to center, and that's going to be another icing. And the Cubs not off to the start they were hoping for. It doesn't seem that they're getting their passing game going here early, Blake.
No, they're a little off. Maybe it's the layoff was a little bit too long, Braden, but yeah, they're not sharp on those passes at all.
Face off now to the right of Cole Schaefer. Brandon Stahl lining up in the face-off dot for the Medicine Hat Cubs. He wins the draw. It's going to be Braden Weisgerber trying to clear it out of his own zone. And Weisgerber now behind the net of Cole Schaefer. He finds Cam Stock in the Cubs corner. The big Andrew Bergman has the puck, throws it back to the point. And now we have a 2-on-1 developing as Kyler Golday picked it off. He fires, hits a shin pad and comes to center. A great job by the Cubs to break up that play as the Cochrane Generals were pressing. Kyler Golday now in the corner, deep in Cochrane territory. He's going to dish it off there for Steve O'Nabigan. And it's Brandon Stahl coming away with it at the half wall. Stahl goes back to the point for Weisgerber, who fires. It's broken up by Andrew Bergman. Bergman, a partial break. He shoots, and Cole Schaefer comes up with the save. And after the play, Cam Stock threw the big man Bergman to the ice, some pushing and shoving. Don't think anything is going to come up with this, but hey, good job by Cam Stock, a little guy, getting the better of the big man Bergman.
Yes, he sure did. He was prepared for that little shot, but going back to Schaefer seen that all the way. You're not going to beat Schaefer in those kind of shots.
No, that's for sure. One of the best goalies in the Heritage Junior Hockey League. He had a chance to suit up in the Western League last year with the Edmonton Oil Kings on the bench backing up. I believe it was Laurent Brossois as Tristan Jarry was away at a Prospects game, so a neat experience for Cole Schaefer. The puck behind of Cole Schaefer now goes into the corner for Kyler Goldade. Goldade, he will throw it to Tanner Mayer, who is looking for Mitch Heller at the half wall. Broken up by McDonald, who fired it in. Austin Gallipo throws it to his defense partner Tanner Mayer, backhands it off the half wall, and it comes to center. It's Austin Keller flipping it into Cubs territory, and it's Bunna dancing in. He shoots, and Schaefer comes up with another save as Bunna walked right in, but Schaefer got the pad down to make the stop. Cochrane looking good early. It's Keller dishing for Bunna. It's broken up by Austin Gallipo. He was looking to feed Mitch Heller. Gallipo with the puck at the Cochrane bench fighting for possession. Heller comes in to help him out, and he flips it into Cochrane's zone. As the Generals, with a lot of strut in their step early, as Brandon Stahl flips it up, and McGuire will flip it into Cochrane territory. It's Craig Packard starting out of his own zone behind the net of Iverson. Packard now at his own blue line. Dishes there for Craig, I believe that was Nielsen who flipped it in. The Cochrane Generals. It's Gosen, couldn't get a handle on it in the slot area. Gosen now with the puck in the corner. Centers there for Nielsen. Cannot get the shot away as he takes a hit. Puck at the half wall for Cole Stevenson. He finds Tanner Mayer, who dishes to Brandon Stahl, a 3-on-2. Brandon Stahl couldn't get the shot away, and Iverson going to hang on as the puck came to him, and the shots now even here at the Kinplex. 7-7, but it's the Cochrane Generals out to the early lead. 2-0 with 8:51 remaining here in the first period. A face-off now to the right of Iverson. It's Cody Florkowski, the captain for this squad, in the face-off dot, and it looks like Corey Gosen going to get waved out as McRae comes in for the draw. And it's Bartram now behind the net of Iverson. Keegan Bartram centering for Florkowski, and he did not get a handle on it. Florkowski missed the puck behind the net of Iverson. Bartram now with it at the half wall. Comes out, finds Florkowski, walks out front. Iverson makes the save. It's Florkowski in there once again. Buzzing early here for the Medicine Hat Cubs as Josh Marshall takes a hit, centers for Bartram. Florkowski shoots, and he sails it just wide of the net. It hits the inboards, and Iverson is going to hang on. And the Cubs looking like a different team on that last sequence there, Blake, as Cody Florkowski leading the charge. He had, 2 or 3 great scoring chances.
He sure did, Braden. And I see Jason is shifting up his lines a little bit, mixing the things up, another formula.
As Solowski wins the draw to the right of Iverson, it's Dove taking a hit. The Cubs, Keegan Bartram cannot get a handle on it as Austin Keller goes cross ice to Packard, back to Keller, who is going to come out of his own zone. Keller looking for the pass. It was broken up by Keegan Bartram. Keller wins the battle though, and he flips it into Cubs territory. That's going to be offside as the Medicine Hat Cubs still down 2-0 in this hockey game, and it appears Dorian Bernhardt doing some chatting with Cochrane's captain, Tyson Solowski.
Yeah, that looks like a little bit of a stir up the pail here, Braden. Well, we need a spark, and I can see that Jason's trying to throw a spark on the ice here.
So the face-off will just come just outside of Cochrane territory. It will be Ben Fury lining up with Solowski. Fury wins the draw, but it's the Generals who get possession. Puck now at the Cochrane blue line. Medicine Hat had to tag up or it would have been offside. As Solowski has to come to center as the Generals need to tag up or they would have been offside as Keller, the assistant captain, dishes for Solowski. He cannot get a handle on it. Austin Gallipo throwing it up to center looking for Kyler Goldade, but it's picked off by Ian McRae. And it's Dove now who has a goal tonight centering, but it's Kyler Goldade coming away with it, a 2-on-2. He's got Mitch Heller, but Keller breaks it up, gets a stick on it as Ben Fury throws it back into Cochrane's zone as Dove cannot get a handle on it at center. Goes all the way down the ice. Schaefer is going to throw it over for Tanner Mayer, the veteran on this hockey squad for the Medicine Hat Cubs. Threw it to center. It's broken up by Matt Dunn, or Tallis Hume, excuse me, as Austin Gallipo comes out of his own zone. Gallipo looking for the long stretch pass to Cole Stevenson, and that is going to be offside. And I don't think Cole Stevenson really noticed that he was offside there as he was looking to be off to the races.
Yeah, it was very close, Braden, very close. But you know what? We're going to connect in one of those long shot passes, and it's going to click.
The first period moving along quite quickly here with 6:48 left in the first. The Generals leading this hockey game by a count of 2-0. As Brown took a hit there, and the Generals trying to fight for control of it in their own zone. Brandon Stahl with the puck at the half wall, centering. No one was home as the Generals are going to be heading to the penalty box, I believe. The referee with his hand in the air, and it appears that it will be Nathan Granito, I believe, going to the box once again. That's a second penalty of the night, so the Cubs may be frustrating him a little bit, and they will go to work on the power play for the second time this evening.
But Braden, something's going to click here, or it has to click, because you can't keep on power play, and not click.
Yes, absolutely, and it on the board right now they have two penalties up, but it appears it's going to be a 4-minute penalty, so a 4-minute power play for the Medicine Hat Cubs. A good opportunity to get back into this hockey game as they trail 2-0. As the Generals flip it all the way down the ice, Cole Schaefer comes out of his net to play it, and he had Chris Hugo on him. Schaefer plays it for Cody Florkowski. Austin Gallipo coming out of his own zone. But it's the Generals' Chris Hugo firing. Schaefer has to play it. Goes right to Austin Gallipo. Gallipo feeding Tanner Mayer, who threw it up to center. Mayer now with the puck at the Cochrane blue line. Mayer dancing in. Puck just got a few feet in front of him, and he cannot get a shot away as Florkowski has the puck in the left corner in Cochrane's zone. Cody Florkowski looking for the point, was looking for Austin Gallipo, but it hit a stick, and he cannot get the shot away as the Cubs still have a big power play. 3 minutes left in the Granito Minor as Austin Gallipo dishes for Cody Florkowski. Florkowski in the face-off dot in Cochrane's zone, winds up, and it sails a few feet wide of the net, just missed. And the Generals going to clear the zone and make a wholesale change with 5:05 left here in the first period. They almost got caught on the change. It's Tanner Mayer walking in. He shoots. Iverson makes a save. Goldade with the puck. Looking for a pass out front. No one was there. They could not connect. The Cubs probably don't like their power play so far, as they haven't really had a decent scoring opportunity. A big chance to get back in this hockey game with that 4-minute man advantage as it sails all the way back into Medicine Hat territory. Schaefer, he plays it for a count player. I believe it's Ben Fury at center. Flips it into Cochrane territory. Iverson comes out of his net. He's going to ring it off the boards, but it's kept in by the pinching Austin Gallipo, who finds Ben Fury, walks out front, decides to go behind the net. Center's there for Mitch Heller. He cannot get a shot away as Gallipo keeps it in. Austin Gallipo working it on the power play, looking for Cam Stock. But it is Kyler Goldade finding Gallipo. Gallipo throws it over there for Mitch Heller at the top of the faceoff circle. Back to Gallipo. He fires, and Iverson makes the easy stop. Some pushing and shoving in front of the Cochrane net, and it was Cam Stock going hard to the ice as Logan Brown just bulldozed him right over. I don't think there's going to be any penalties on the play. So far, a feisty affair here tonight at the Kinplex, Blake.
Oh, yes, it is, Braden. We expect a little bit more to come here. We just got to connect on one of these power plays, Braden. I mean, we're a little short from being a score up here.
So we will have a face-off just outside of Cochrane's zone. And lining up, it will be the captain, Cody Florkowski, and for the Cubs, and Corey Gosen for the Generals. Those two fight for it, and it's Josh Marshall coming away with it. Marshall dropped it off for Keegan Bartram, who's at the half wall. Cody Florkowski in the corner. Still 1:20 left on the power play. Penalty to Granito, a 4-minute penalty, and the Cubs trying to get something going and get back in this game as they trail 2-0 as Marshall dishes off for Keegan Bartram. Marshall walks out front, cannot jam it home. Florkowski now in the left corner. Florkowski lost control of it, and it was Mayer pinching, and it's Keegan Bartram behind the net of Iverson. Bartram back to the point for Cody Florkowski. Florkowski throws it behind the net of Iverson, and it's Mayer pinching still. He finds Josh Marshall behind the net. Marshall centered. Puck comes to the point for Weisgerber. Kind of fanned on it as the puck is now at center, and it's Corey Gosen gonna dish it off there for Brett Burnt. He fired, sailed wide of the net. Marshall centers for Keegan Bartram. Bartram now into Cochrane's zone. Keegan Bartram in the corner, centering for Marshall. Couldn't get a handle on it as Cam Stock keeps it into Cochrane's territory. Florkowski still sniffing for it, comes back to the point for Dorian Bernhardt. He got the shot away, but it sailed wide of the net. The Cubs have to tag up, or that would be offside. And that is essentially going to do it here for the Granito penalty. The Cubs cannot get anything going on that 4-minute man advantage. Back to 5-on-5 with 2:15 left here in the first period. It's going to be Bernhardt flipping it into Cochrane's zone. Matt Dunn coming out of his own territory. He's going to flip it up to the half wall but it's the Cubs keeping it in. It's Cole Stevenson behind the net for, I believe that's Sean McGuire. McGuire, he's got Solowski and Dunn on him. McGuire loses control of the puck, and the Generals will clear the zone all the way down the ice. They're going to make a change. Dorian Bernhardt now behind the net of Cole Schaefer. Bernhardt trying to get something going for this Medicine Hat hockey Cubs squad that has not got off to the start they were hoping for. Puck now at the into the Cochrane zone, and it's Stevenson fighting for possession. McGuire now loses the puck, Keller, and he will feed it to Solowski. Solowski going to look for McRae, but that is going to be offside with 1:09 left here in the first period. The Cubs still down 2-0.
Yeah, that offside, Braden, was all the way. He was waiting to get that pass recepted a little bit sooner than he did, but all for naught, it's offside.
Face off now just outside of the Cubs zone. Puck goes back to Cole Schaefer, who comes out of his net. Austin Gallipo sitting behind the net of Cole Schaefer. 1 minute left here in the first period as Ben Fury chases after it into Cochrane zone. Fury was not able to win the battle. It's Craig Packard coming out of his own zone, flips it to center, and it's Tanner Mayer with the puck into Cubs territory. He finds Mitch Heller, can't get a handle on it, and Austin Gallipo, a little miscommunication between Heller and Gallipo as it's Tallis Hume firing, and Cole Schaefer just going to hang on in the late stages of this first period. Only 33.7 seconds left. The Cubs down 2-0, and they're out shooting Cochrane 10-7, but Iverson has been great here through the early stages of this hockey game as Bergman fires it on net, and the puck was centered as Schaefer comes up with another save as Brett Burnt was parked at the side of the net, and that was the save of the game for Cole Schaefer as he made the initial stop and was able to get the rebound.
Huge save, Braden. That saved the game, like you said. It's just a fantastic save, good save. Maybe that'll shape the guys up a little bit.
Face off to the blocker side of Cole Schaefer. Florkowski loses the draw. Bergman fires, hits Bartram's shin pad and goes to center. The Generals Packard now at the right half wall. Weisgerber can't hit him off the puck, and we are going to have a whistle as the net comes dislodged with just 15 seconds left here in the first period. The Cochrane Generals with a lot of speed here tonight at the Kinplex. Face-off to the catching side of Cole Schaefer. It'll be Tallis Hume lining up with the captain, Cody Florkowski. Hume, he loses the draw, and Keegan Bartram has the puck. Late stages, flips it into Cochrane zone. That's going to be offside with just 8.9 seconds left here in the first period. And Blake, we have to mention this game a little bit delayed as another pane of glass broke here at the Kinplex. And, we've certainly seen that before this season, but the rink crew did a great job of, getting it all sorted out. And we were ready to play some hockey here. Not really too much of a delay, though. And the first period is going to wind down here at the Kinplex. The Medicine Hat Cubs find themselves in a big hole, already down 2 goals. Heading into the second period, time now for the scoring summary. And in the early stages of that hockey game, it was Patrick Dove getting the goal. The assist going to number 18, Ian McRae, and number 19, Tyson Solowski. That made it 1-0. Later in that frame, it was number 13 for the Cochrane Generals getting the goal, Corey Gosen, and the assist going to Brett Burnt, and that made it 2-0. The Cubs not able to get on the scoreboard as they are down 2-0, but they are leading in the shots department 10-8. And Blake, this is not been the start the Cubs were hoping for.
Yes, Braden, we got an interesting guest joining me from the Generals. Here we go, Jacqueline. I'd like to introduce you folks to the general manager, Jacqueline, I'm not going to use your last name because I can't pronounce it right, but
Hurlbert.
there we go. Jacqueline, your thoughts on the first period?
Well, for the Generals, I think it was pretty good. They've been working really hard with Okotoks. It was hard to go out to a shootout and not be able to capitalize on it. But there's a lot of hockey left in this game still, so.
Yeah, there is, Jacqueline. You can see that we're a little bit lagging, if you want to call it leg lagging, handcuffed, and can't get our passes. But you're right, there's a lot of hockey left. Your comment on that 4-minute high stick-in. I know we like to offend our players, and do you think that was warranted? I didn't really see the call. Did you see it, Jacqueline?
I did. The guy was coming at Nate to hit him, Nathan Granito. You know, the refs make their decisions, and you got to stick with it. You can't really dispute it now, right?
No, that's
All
right.
the important
That's right.
part was that we killed off the penalty, and
That's right. You did a real good job. I mean, excellent job. I noticed that your wingers are right in the position where they should be. That last we robbed you that third goal. It should have been 3-0 really, but Schaefer came up with a goal that he should have saved, and he did save. Coming off of changing subject, last night's game, I heard it was a real whopper of a game against Okotoks. Can you describe your game a little bit to the people that's watching you from home?
well, obviously Okotoks has been a team that we've wanted to beat for a long time. They're a top contender. The guys worked really hard last night, and for the majority of the game we had the lead and we wanted to get it, but we just couldn't hold it. Went into overtime, still wanted it, couldn't put it in the net, had some great chances, and unfortunately in the shootout we just couldn't put it together.
But you still got 1 point out of it, Jacqueline.
That's right, we did.
And that puts you people were third spot. I didn't see the downstairs, but I think you're ahead of us, are you not?
We're 7, 8, 0, and 2. I haven't looked at the standings
Yeah.
where we lay out yet, but it's really tight.
Really tight. In fact, I understand if we lose tonight's game, we could end up in last spot, and that's only 3 points away. So you're right. It's a tough league this year. Okotoks, of course, they were building their team right up to their last year's cup. When they went to the cup, they fell short.
Yeah.
When they had the provincials 2 years ago, we couldn't beat them if we tried to beat them. I mean, you could spot us 3 goals and you still couldn't beat them. But now they're down to our level, and you're right. We're going to be after them too. We haven't played them yet, but we're after them too. Where do you go from here, Jacqueline?
From here, we go home. We got 2 home games next weekend, Stettler Lightning on Friday, and then we have Banff on Saturday.
2 good teams again. Bill's team is nothing to wreck around with. Bill's always up for all his games. I understand that Banff had a couple of tournaments last week in BC. They're not sitting idle like we were.
No. Again, this is one of the teams that the Generals have gone into thinking that they're going to overpower, and they've really pushed back, and they've been super competitive this season, so it's great hockey.
You bet. Jacqueline, I don't know if you heard about last night's game with Codale. Did you hear anything about last night's transpiring anywhere or anyhow?
No, I haven't heard a lot about it.
I just heard it was there was a bench brawling affair, and the coach got 3 games, I believe, suspension. Talking about coaches, what is the responsibility on that bench?
That's tough because from a manager's perspective, the bench is the coaches, and who you're putting out there is representing your team, and you kind of have to trust them to make the right decisions. It's a passionate sport, and sometimes you just get too into it, and sometimes you make mistakes. I think it's part of hockey. It's not a good aspect of hockey, but it happens from time to time. I think, obviously, the way the league is handling it is the right course of action.
Well, being a past coach and a coach with the Cubs in the past, I know that a coach is responsible for his players' actions. If those players of mine went on the ice without me authorizing them to go on the ice, my neck is in the ring. And when I'm in the ringer, I'm not going to be a happy coach. So I believe he's going to be once he gets back on the bench. I believe they're playing us on Friday, without the coach, of course, and a couple of players. But they're another team that they beat you on the ice, but physically they don't beat you by a better game. They just physically beat you.
Yep. We've had troubles. We've lost twice. So the 2 times we've seen them at their rink, we lost. We just recently got one of our players back who broke his arm.
I understand
and so
that, yeah.
He's been out since the beginning of October, so right at the end of September. And that was just going to the boards. It was a really physical thing, and that's just what they bring to the ice when we play them.
Well, Jacqueline, coming from that incident, and I remember that incident, but I don't remember what did that player get for breaking the other chap's arm.
Oh, it wasn't a matter of like whose fault it was. It was just kind of the way he went into the boards, but just one of those unfortunate ways it goes. And yeah, it was not intentional, obviously, and it was just a hit.
Well, they do have some intentional hits. We went through that stage with them, throwing sticks even in our bench. But yeah, they're very physical, and we haven't. We played one game here. They beat us once. I think it was 3-2, and we're playing them again this Friday. I got extra security on. The last time we played them in this building in the playoffs, we had the police here, the riot squad, and I tell you, whatever we had here, it was a ball. But hopefully we're going to have another exciting game. And Jacqueline, I understand when we were supposed to be at Sherbarn a week ago, when we had that terrible storm, it's not very often that we get our league interfering with our game, which means they cancel a game. That's the first time I know that they canceled a game for 2 years that I know of. And thank the Lord they did, because our bus was ready to leave. And I understand there was a lot of teams that were stranded. Were you people prepared to play that game with us? Or?
Oh yeah, we were 100% prepared. We were hosting one of our Cochrane minor hockey nights, so we were going to have some little initiation players in the rink for that. So unfortunately, with the way it went, I guess it was for the best with how the roads were, but we were definitely looking forward to that game.
You betcha. You know, it's not gone a wayside. We're going to be playing Cochrane again, the Generals, hopefully in the later stages of January. We're really well booked up until February. It would be nice to have the final game against you people for a positional play. It would be nice, but we'll come to it when we get closer to the end of the season. But Jacqueline, it's always a pleasure of mine to see you, and I really appreciate you coming up here and talking to Blake the Snake. You betcha. Thank you.
back here at the Kinplex. You're listening and watching to Cubs Hockey on Ustream, a presentation made possible by our good sponsors like the Beefeater Steakhouse, Autos R Less, and the Medicine Hat Lodge. Face off at center. It's Josh Marshall with the puck in his own zone. Dishes off the half wall to Keegan Bartram. Bartram now with the puck at his own blue line. Going to come out to center. He falls. Threw it back to the point for Braden Weisgerber, who is fighting for control. As Keegan Bartram going to chip it into Cubs territory, hits something, goes out of play, and that is going to be a whistle. The Cubs trailing this hockey game by a count of 2-0. Face-off now outside of Cochrane's territory. It's the captain, Cody Florkowski, lining up with another captain, Tyson Solowski, who won the draw. Puck now at center. Austin Gallipo going to flip it into Cochrane territory. Iverson going to steer it in the corner for Keller. Goes cross ice to Packard. Craig Packard tried to throw it up. It was broken up by Cody Florkowski. Puck at the half wall now. And it's Keegan Bartram for the Cubs with it. Bartram behind the net of Iverson. He has two guys on him. And he loses control as he is slow to get up. And it looks like we have a penalty in the early stages of this second period, and it is going to be Josh Marshall heading off for a hooking minor for 2 minutes or less. So Cochrane going to go to work on the power play for the first time in this hockey game. As I mentioned, a hooking call to Josh Marshall. Face-off deep in Cubs territory. And Stevenson won the draw. The Cubs cannot clear the zone. It was kept in by Keller. Keller with the puck now at the Cubs blue line. Dishes for Solowski, who's along the half wall. Solowski to McRae, looking for Bergman out front. McRae now with the puck in the right corner in Cubs territory. Dishes for Solowski. Solowski flips it cross ice for Packard, and he cannot get a handle on a Packard now. In the left corner, goes cross ice for Solowski. Solowski going to wind up, goes to Keller, who shot, and Schaefer able to make the save on the penalty kill. As Blake Foster is back in the broadcast booth, had to do a little bit of camera work there, but he's back, folks.
Yeah, Braden, I think Schaefer seen that all the way. I didn't catch that penalty clearly. What was going on there?
That was a hooking minor, and I think Marshall obviously deserved that call. A pretty easy call for the official to make as McRae dances into Cubs territory. Puck behind the net of Schaefer. Cam Stock was fighting for control. Puck at the half wall for the captain, Tyson Solowski. Dishes for McRae. Back to Solowski. Goes back to the point for Keller. Keller going to look for some space. He shoots at the body in front. Kyler Goldade falls down. Can't clear it out of his own zone. Andrew Bergman, he found Craig Packard, who gives it back to Bergman at the half wall. Broken up by Goldade. Goldade trying to clear the puck, and Bergman, he centers for Solowski, who fires, and Schaefer steers it up and out of play. That is going to be a whistle with 44 seconds left in the Marshall minor. And Cole Schaefer has come up huge a few times on this power play for the Medicine Hat Cubs, on the penalty kill rather, for the Medicine Hat Cubs.
Yeah, Braden, Schaefer's come up pretty strong here for him. They got to kill this penalty off, that's for sure.
As the Cubs ship it all the way into Cochrane territory, Iverson comes out of his net. He's going to set it up there for Austin Keller. Keller coming out of his own zone, the assistant captain, dishing for Tallis Hume. Hume had the puck broken up by Bernhardt, goes back to Packard in his own zone. And the Generals going to start out of their own zone. It's Granito, who has 2 penalties here tonight for Cochrane. He finds Patrick Dove, who's at the half wall into Cubs territory. Tallis Hume searching for the puck. It's Bernhardt. He's going to throw it all the way down the ice. Goes to center. And we're back to 5-on-5 as Josh Marshall steps out of the penalty box. Almost was able to pick it off. It's Patrick Dove flying into Cubs territory. Puck now behind the net of Cole Schaefer. He's going to steer it at the half wall. Heller, he dished it off there for, I believe, that was Marshall. He took a hit. Ben Fury now into Cochrane territory. Marshall now in the right corner. Marshall dancing around, fighting for possession. He has done right on him. And the Generals get the puck, and they'll try to clear the zone, but it's kept in by Bernhardt. Dorian Bernhardt, a smart play, was looking for Ben Fury. As the puck is in the corner, Austin Gallipo pinching, fighting for possession. He's got Josh Marshall helping him out, but the Generals get possession of the puck, but a good job by Marshall. He wins the battle. He retains possession for the Medicine Hat Cubs. As Cody Florkowski, the captain, dishes for Austin Gallipo at the Cochrane blue line, spins at the half wall, and Gallipo takes a tumble, but he has a man helping him out. It was Keegan Bartram, but the Cochrane Generals fire it all the way down the ice, and that is going to be good enough for icing with 15:56 left here in the second. The Cubs still trailing this hockey game 2-0, and it's not looking good right now for the Cubs as Austin Gallipo going to head to the box for 2 minutes for the Medicine Hat Cubs. And we will see what the official call on this penalty is. Did not quite see the referee's signal. So the Cubs going to go to work.
That, Braden, I didn't see that at all. Did you?
I did not see the signal from the referee, but it will be an interference minor. So the Cubs back on the penalty kill for the second time in this period as Craig Packard has it in his own zone, comes across his own blue line. He's at center, ships it into Cubs territory. Schaefer comes out of his net. He can't get a handle on it. The big man Bergman fighting for possession in the corner. And it's Tyson Solowski with it. Goes back to the point for Keller. Keller back to Solowski. Solowski throw it into the corner there for McRae. Solowski cross ice to Keller. Keller fires, hits a body out front. Solowski tried to fire, who's broken up by Keegan Bartram, who slid in. Puck now behind the net of Cole Schaefer. The big man Andrew Bergman with the puck, and Cody Florkowski going to smartly play it all the way down the ice and kill some time off the Austin Gallipo penalty as Iverson sets it up at the side of his net for Keller, who dished to Solowski. It's back to Keller now. It's at center, Ian McRae. Bergman has it into Cubs territory in the corner. Takes a hit from Weisgerber. It's Ian McRae fighting for control. He has it now along the half wall. Going to go looking for Solowski, who has it at the top of the faceoff circle. Tyson Solowski going to try to dance in, but it's broken up. A breakaway for Sean McGuire. He's got a partial break. McGuire in, he shoots, and Iverson comes up with a big pad save. As Sean McGuire had the partial break, he has the puck still in the slot. He shoots, saved by Iverson, another shot. And boy, oh boy, the Cubs pressing here as McGuire dishes for Weisgerber, who fired. The referee has his arm in the air, and that's going to be a penalty. Going to be going to the Cochrane Generals, a hooking minor. So we are going to see some 4-on-4 action for 2 seconds. And then the Medicine Hat Cubs going to be going to work on the power play for the first time this period as Austin Keller heads to the sin bin for the Cochrane Generals. And we will get that official penalty for you in just a few moments' time. The Cubs looking deadly there as Sean McGuire had a partial breakaway, but he could not beat Iverson, who came up huge once again for his squad here tonight. Already 13 saves. He is not allowed a goal in this hockey game. A face-off now to the right of goaltender Iverson. It's Ben Fury winning the draw, but Chris Hugo got possession as Gallipo steps out of the penalty box. Mayer gets a shot away. The Cubs on the power play now for a minute 48 or less as Kyler Goldade throws it into Cochrane territory. And it's in the corner, fighting for possession. Mitch Heller dishes to Ben Fury behind the net of Iverson. Ben Fury behind the Cochrane net. He finds Mitch Heller. Back to Fury. Fury at the side of the net, looking out front for Heller. Goldade there, and he cannot get a quality shot away. So I believe Iverson had to make the stop as Schaefer comes out of his net. Long pass for Austin Gallipo. Gallipo dishing it for Kyler Goldade, who's in his own zone. He has some pressure from a Cochrane player, Brett Burnt, who has the puck now behind the net of Cole Schaefer. It's in the corner Cochrane doing a good job on this penalty kill, killing some time as they're working it in Cubs territory. Ben Fury dishes to Austin Gallipo, who spins, going to come out of his own zone, trying to get something going on the man advantage. Austin Gallipo at center. Comes into the Cochrane zone, almost ran into Kyler Goldade. As we have a whistle here now. I believe that was offside. So we will have a face-off just outside of the Cochrane zone with 12:42 left here in the second period. The Cubs trailing 2-0. Florkowski winning the draw against Gosen. Braden Weisgerber going to smartly throw it into Cochrane territory. It's Craig Packard with the biscuit out of his own zone. He's going to throw it all the way down the ice. Cole Schaefer's going to have to come out of his net and set it up there for Cam Stock. Stock dishes for Cody Florkowski. Throws it to center for Keegan Bartram, who's in Cochrane zone. Bartram flips it in the corner for Josh Marshall. Marshall behind the net of Iverson. Goes back to the half wall for Braden Weisgerber. Dishes to Florkowski. Goes cross ice to Stock. Fires, misses. Stahl banged it out of the midair, but he cannot convert as it sailed wide of the net as Stock keeps it in. Puck now at center, and that is going to do it for the penalty to Austin Keller. Back to 5-on-5 here at the Kinplex. Puck now at the half wall. It's Cody Florkowski dancing at center. Ships it cross ice for Keegan Bartram. Bartram in the Cochrane zone. Drops it for Florkowski, and he was not there as the Generals come away with it. But the Cubs do a great job of flipping it into Cochrane zone. The puck now at the half wall. Nielsen trying to clear the zone. And the Cochrane Generals able to get it to center. And they send it all the way down the ice. They're going to go for a wholesale change with 11-12 left here in the second period. It's been a while without a whistle. Some back and forth action here at the Kinplex. The Cubs still trailing 2-0 as they will put it all the way down the ice, and that will be icing as Blake Foster joins me back here in the broadcast booth. And you know, Sean McGuire there had a great scoring opportunity a short time ago, and the Cubs looking like a better hockey club in this second period, Blake.
They've pulled up their socks a little bit, Brian, and Braden. I think the coach had a couple words to say down there, and let's watch them put up their socks.
The Cubs trying to come away with it, and they throw it all the way down the ice. And it's Matt Kreigel flipping it around there, and now at the half. Well, Bernhardt takes a big hit, and Bernhardt was absolutely laid out by Matt Kreigel. A big hit from the Cochrane General. It's now Sayre McDonald with the puck into Cubs territory. Sayre McDonald cuts out front. Schaefer gets a paddle down, and McDonald is there to bang it home. And the Cochrane Generals, they take the 3-0 lead as Cole Schaefer made a save, but Sayre McDonald was sniffing at the side of the net, and he makes no mistake as the Generals take a convincing lead. Now, Blake, it's 3-0.
Yeah, now they're getting themselves into a real big hole. Braden, I really blame Dustin Conus for that miscue. He got caught after that big hit. He should have went to the bench, and he didn't, and he got caught, and it was his goal.
So it was Sayre McDonald getting the goal there for the Cochrane Generals as they take the big 3-0 lead. The Cubs need to get a goal here soon, or this could not be a good night for them. As the Generals come into Cubs territory once again, it's Nathan Granito with a lot of speed. Back to the point for Packard. He shoots. And Schaefer, no rebound this time as he covers up with 9:47 left here in the second period. And the Cubs, as I mentioned, still trailing this hockey game 3-0.
You know, Braden, sorry I cut you off there, but you can't take anything away from Schaefer. Those 3 goals are just gimme goals. It wasn't his fault.
As the Generals throw it into Cubs territory rather. Trying to get something going, get a goal as They have not found the back of the net here tonight at the Kinplex. Maybe that long layoff playing a factor. The Cubs had not played since November 10th coming into this hockey game. As Packard goes cross ice for Austin Keller, the assistant captain for the Cochrane Generals. Flipped it up to center. Is broken up by Braden Weisgerber. Throws it into Cochrane zone. Craig Packard coming away with it, but it's broken up by Josh Marshall. Marshall looking for Keegan Bartram, but he dishes to Cody Florkowski. Back to Bartram. Bartram trying to get a shot away. Cannot get the shot he wanted, as Josh Marshall, I think, was caught up at the side of the net, and Iverson going to make a save as Cody Florkowski was in front of the net there. He's having words with Craig Packard. Nothing will come of that. Cody Florkowski just, whispering some words of wisdom.
Yeah, Braden, he's getting a little frustrated. Cody doesn't say too much to the players unless he's really frustrated, and I think he's really frustrated right now.
Brandon Stahl wins the draw back to the point for Austin Gallipo. Ships it up to Sean McGuire. Was dropping it off there for Brandon Stahl. Gallipo keeps it in at the point. He's going to shoot. Iverson with the blocker save. As the Generals having a lot of issues in their own zone right now. A number of players in there fighting for possession. McRae, he finds Patrick Dove, who's flying into Cubs territory. Dove shoots. Schaefer makes a save. Didn't know where it was, but Schaefer is able to hang on after making a blocker stop. And once again, it's the Generals showing why, they're one of the, they're one of the fastest teams in this Heritage Junior Hockey League. A lot of speed, and they will burn you if they have the opportunity.
Yeah, they will. They're just waiting for that open ice, and away they go.
Puck now at center. McGuire looking for the pass to Cole Stevenson, and he cannot get a handle on it as the Cubs fight for possession, as Stevenson got his hands up on a Cochrane player, and looks like he will be heading to the sin bin, as Stevenson is having some words now with Logan Brown, and not what the Cubs need. Another penalty, and that will be their third penalty of this hockey game, as Cole Stevenson heads to the sin bin for 2 minutes or less. Believe that it will be a roughing minor.
And
so
Braden, that's the third penalty in this period. Never mind this hockey game.
Yes, absolutely, as the Cubs going to have to dig deep here on this penalty kill situation if they want to get back into this hockey game. Already down 3 goals with 7:50 left here in the second period, as Dove has the puck at the half wall. The speedy Patrick Dove looking for some lanes. Back to the point for Keller. Little give and go. Tallis Hume centering. Nothing was available. I don't think the Generals got the shot they were looking for. As Ben Fury fights for possession. Back to the point for Keller. Flips it in. Braden Weisgerber fighting for possession. But it's the Generals controlling the play here. Keller shoots, and Schaefer just going to hang on with 1:18 left here in the Cole Stevenson penalty, and the Cubs going to need to get something going here if they want to come out with a victory here tonight, already down 3 goals.
Well, they're going to have to do something, dig a little deeper. Jason's going to have to go in that dressing room in the next intermission and do something about it.
Fighting for possession, a number of players to the right of Cole Schaefer. Puck now comes loose. Goes back to the point for Tyson Solowski, the captain of this Cochrane General squad. Dishes there for Keller, who fires. Big bounce off the inboards, and Keller cannot bang it home at the side of the net. Puck goes all the way into Cochrane territory. Iverson flips it off the boards. Solowski with the puck. But a good job by Tanner Mayer to pinch and throw it all the way deep into Cochrane territory. Brandon Stahl with the puck all by himself as Keller has it now. He ships it up to Andrew Bergman. Bergman throws it back to Tyson Solowski at the Cochrane blue line. Just 25 seconds left in the Stevenson penalty. And the Generals icing the puck on the penalty, or on the power play rather, so we will have a face-off deep in Cochrane territory.
Yeah, they need this one. 21 seconds left to Braden. If they kill this one off, then they can start thinking about getting that first goal.
Face off to the right of Iverson. It's done, shipping it up to Patrick Dove. Dove now goes cross ice for Logan Brown. Brown dishes it up for Nathan Granito. A big hit on the play. And that is going to be offside. Just 8 seconds left in the Cole Stevenson minor, and 6:10 left here in the second frame. The Cubs down 3-0. They need to get something going, get a goal heading into that third period, or it is going to be a lengthy frame for them in the third. No question about it. As Dunn has the puck at the Cubs blue line. Another offside called, and Stevenson now out of the box. Back to 5-on-5, something that's been a rarity here in the second, Blake, because there's already been, 4 penalties in this period. So every couple minutes there's already been a penalty.
But Braden, if you remember, nobody's scoring the opportunity on these power plays.
Yes, the penalty kill has been great here tonight for both teams, no question about it, as Josh Marshall has the puck in Cochrane territory. He's got Sarah McDonald on him, and it's McDonald coming away with the puck. Was looking cross ice there for Chris Hugo. Centered it, and chasing after it's Daniel Bunna in the corner. Bunna centers for McDonald. Couldn't get a handle on it as the Cubs have the puck, and they'll clear it to center. Keegan Bartram at the center ice area, fighting for possession along the Cochrane bench. The Cubs come away with it. Cody Florkowski. Starting out of his own zone, looking up there for center. No one was available. Florkowski chasing after it into Cochrane territory. He takes a big hit from Dunn, but Florkowski's the guy who stands up. Dunn takes a tumble as Bernhardt flips it to Florkowski, who's centered for Bartram, but he cannot keep it in. Not going to be good enough for icing, the official says. Schaefer plays it for Bartram. Chasing after, it's Cole Stevenson. Stevenson fighting for possession with Iverson, the goaltender. Stevenson walks out front, couldn't get a shot away. Florkowski centering for McGuire, couldn't pull the trigger. As the Generals send it all the way down the ice, not good enough for icing once again. As Burnt and Cody Florkowski exchanging some words with Matt Kreigel. And those two are exchanging words and pleasantries, some pushing and shoving. We will see if any penalties come of this. And it was looking at the play, Blake. I did not quite see that develop.
Yes, I did. They were both chatting each other, swinging the sticks at each other. Then Bukowski, he got a bad one right across his face with the high stick.
Yeah, and I don't think Kreigel is a guy that Florkowski wants to mess with. Kreigel with 106 penalty minutes this season for the Cochrane Generals, but Cody Florkowski has, kind of kept his penalty minutes to a minimum this year as opposed to last year where he had a crazy amount. He's only got 66 PIMs, so both guys going to be heading to the box. Looks like it will be some 5-on-5 action, I believe. We'll get it all sorted out for you.
Well, Braden, coming back to Cody, the difference between last year and this year is because he's the captain this year. Captains are not supposed to take tremendous amount of penalties. And he was told if he kept his penalties down, he'd be able to wear the C.
Yeah, chatted with Cody Florkowski earlier in the season. He said he had to kind of change his game this year, no doubt about it, as we have a face-off to the left of Cole Schaefer. Some 5-on-5 here at the Kinplex. Florkowski and Kreigel in the box as they were exchanging some words, jostling there early ago. Going to be a roughing call to Florkowski. And a roughing call to Kreigel as Keller takes a spill. And it's Gosen coming out of Cochrane zone. He lost possession. And Gallipo pinches to keep it in. Sean McGuire in the corner. Centers there for Brandon Stahl. Cannot pull the trigger as the Generals skate the other way. And they cannot get the 3-on-2 to work there. There's a number of guys fighting for control that the Cubs coming away with it. Ben Fury, he found Cole Stevenson, who fires an easy save for Iverson as it was going wide of the net anyway, as the Generals going to start, but it's broken up by Austin Gallipo, who finds Mitch Heller. Heller, he's got Fury. Heller shoots, and Iverson is there to make the easy stop as Ben Fury doing some pushing and shoving with Matt Dunn and Chris Hugo in the crease area deep in Cochrane zone with 3:19 left here in the second. The Cochrane Generals still leading this hockey game 3-0, and Mitch Heller getting quite feisty here in the second period. It looks like he wants to go with Austin Keller. We'll see what develops with that.
Well, he's just frustrated. It was an excellent shot, but no rebound, and he's just getting frustrated. The whole team's getting frustrated, Braden.
So it will be Daniel Bunna lining up for Cochrane and Ben Fury for the Medicine Hat Cubs. Face off to the left, and we are going to have a tilt. It is going to be Heller squaring off with Chris Hugo. They're chucking the bones, both guys landing some good shots. Heller with a couple haymakers. The fans loving it. The Kidplex back and forth. And Hugo pushes Heller into the boards, and Heller, he can win that fight, no question about it. A pretty even scrap. And maybe this will fire up the Medicine Hat Cubs as they are both getting a standing O from their benches.
You know, Braden, Heller had the upper hand, and he wasn't going to give up. And I tell you, if that doesn't fire up the team, what will?
And the fans on their feet at the Kinplex. Boy, oh boy, some extracurriculars, and right off the draw they said let's go, and they did. We're not afraid. Both guys landing in some quality chances, and that has to fire up the Cubs, as you mentioned, with 3:15 left here in the second period. It's going to be Ben Fury lining up with Solowski. Fury wins the draw. Steve O'Nabigan behind the net, centers there for Goldade, and they cannot get it going. The Generals back the other way. Solowski chips it into Cubs territory as Schaefer gonna just throw it back there for Weisgerber behind his own net. Dove takes a tumble, and Ben Fury has the puck now behind his own net. Solowski fighting for possession. He gets absolutely pasted, and we are going to have a penalty, I think, going to the Medicine Hat Cubs, as Tyson Solowski was absolutely hammered by Steve O'Nabigan. The Manitoba product got a little aggravated there, I guess, Blake.
Well, you know, Braden, that was a cross-check, but it looked like to me it was with his fists. It wasn't with a stick, with his fists, and he got sin bin for 2 minutes.
So O'Nabigan going to the sin bin, as you mentioned, for 2 minutes or less. So the Cochrane Generals going to go to work on the power play as Solowski walked right in, and he was able to get a shot away. Going to be another penalty handed out. A slashing minor going to Dorian Bernhardt, I believe, as he got the lumber on the speedy Solowski, who walked in on the partial break. Not what the Cubs need. 5-on-3 for the Cochrane Generals, as the Cubs penalty box getting quite crowded. And these two teams exchanging words in the face-off dot as Keller has the puck at the blue line. Austin Keller, cross ice for Solowski. Solowski goes over there and they score. Craig Packard sent a shot out to the front of the net, and it was Andrew Bergman who just tapped it in, and the Cochrane Generals go up 4-0. The Cubs still shorthanded, though.
Well, Braden, you could see that coming. 5-on-3 is no match for the Cubbies. When they got 5-on-3, that's a given.
So the Cochrane Generals up 4-0, still on the power play. Dorian Bernhardt still in the box for this Cubs hockey squad as Patrick Dove flies into Cubs territory. It's Dove centering there for Solowski. Pulls the trigger, but it sails wide of the net. Craig Packer keeps it and winds up, shoots. And Cole Schaefer is going to hang on. Austin Gallipo pushing Patrick Dove. Cody Florkowski in the mix there now. These two teams just do not like each other here tonight at the Kinplex.
No, they sure don't. But, we got a bunch of college students, too, right behind the bench of the Cochrane Generals. They're giving them a rough time. So, hey, the game's not finished yet, Braden.
No, lots can change here in the Heritage Junior Hockey League, as we've seen all season long. As Dunn fails to keep it in. Ben Fury, he's off to the races. A partial break. Ben Fury, but he was broken up there by Logan Brown, who got a body on him. Ben Fury still with the puck in the Cochrane corner. It's going to be Corey Gosen fighting for possession at center, but the Cubs going to clear it all the way into Cochrane territory with just a minute left in the Dorian Bernhardt Minor, as Ben Fury's stick gets caught in the boards in the Zamboni entrance. Cochrane throws it all the way down the ice. We have a whistle, and kind of a weird play there, Blake. I've seen it before where the stick just gets caught in the entrance, the little hole there for the Zamboni.
And nobody can move because you're all stuck up. He had to go back to the bench for a new stick, twig, and you just can't stand there and try and get it loose. But he's got a new twig, and here we go.
As the Generals come away with it, it's Patrick Dove. Dove looking cross ice for Bergman, but they're just a shade offside as Cole Stevenson pushes Bergman into the boards after the play. And some more physical play here at the Kinplex. The Cubs still trailing this hockey game by a count of 4-0. They need to get something going if they want to have a hope of clawing their way back into this hockey game. As Fury wins the draw, the Cubs still shorthanded. Fury going to walk into Cochrane territory. He takes a hit from Craig Packard. It's Austin Keller now at his own blue line. Ships it up for Andrew Bergman. Bergman walking in, a partial break. Bergman scores! Andrew Bergman, forehand, backhand, top shelf. Just like that, 2 power play goals for the Cochrane Generals. And the Generals take the 5-0 lead.
That's a huge lead, Braden. I don't think our Cubbies will be able to dig themselves out of this big hole. But, like you said, anything can happen in this league.
Yes, so 2 power play goals there for the Cochrane Generals in the late stages of the second period. Not what the Cubs needed, and they need to keep their heads cool here. They do not need any more suspensions. There's no denying that. Puck comes to the half wall. Sean McGuire with the puck at center, broken up by Austin Gallipo, who falls down, and he's tumbling there with Granito. Gallipo kind of ripped the helmet off of Granito. Don't think any penalties are going to come of this. But Austin Gallipo obviously not too pleased with the outcome so far of the hockey game, with 46.4 seconds left in the second. The Cubs down 5-0. The Generals with 3 goals in the second period, as we have a face-off deep in Cochrane territory.
Braden, I tell you, it's a change around here now. They dug themselves in a real big hole. I kind of expect a change of a goaltender the next period.
Yes, maybe change the goaltender. Maybe that will spark the Cubs. We will see what happens as Goldade loses control there, and it's Matt Dunn shipping it into Cubs territory with just 27 seconds left here in the second period. That's going to be good enough for icing, as we will do this all over again. The Cubs going to have to maintain their composure, as I mentioned. I'm sure Jason Bartram's going to be chatting with his troops about that in the second intermission.
Oh, definitely, Braden. He'll be down there right away with his 2 assistant coaches, and they'll be doing something, that's for sure.
McGuire loses the draw to Tellis Hume. Puck now at center. Austin Gallipo chasing after it into his own zone. Austin Gallipo, he takes a hit, but it is Granito who went hard to the ice. As Schaefer comes out of his net, time winding down here in the second. The Cubs trailing 5-0. as that is going to do it for second period action here at the Kinplex. The Medicine Hat Cubs in a huge hole. They need to score 5 to force some extra time in this third period, or maybe more. We'll see what Cochrane can do in this third period as well. And Blake, the Cochrane Generals, they just showed, all sorts of great things in that second period with 3 goals, 2 of which on the power play.
Yes, you got that right, Braden. On the power play, they had 4 chances and they got shut out the 4 chances. But you know what? They got something going for them. Of course, the first 3 goals, Braden, as far as I'm concerned, they were cheap goals. Lucky spot, lucky place at the right time. And now they put up their shots and they really give it to the Cubs. But you're going to probably see something going on in the third period.
Yeah, we'll see if we have a goaltending change or something of that nature as the Cubs head into the third in a huge hole, as I mentioned, down 5-0. And we will see if they can get back into the hockey game. You're listening to Cubs Hockey on Ustream, a presentation made possible by our good friends, at the Beefeater Steakhouse, Autos Are Less, and the Medicine Hat Lodge. And Autos Are Less, you can enter to win a trip to Las Vegas if you cut out the coupon there in the Cubs program. And the Medicine Hat Lodge, you can enter to win 2 nights accommodation. And we will be expecting an interview here in the second intermission. I'm sure Blake will see what happens with that in a few moments' time. And you wanted to talk about the little promotion going on the ice right now.
Yeah, Braden, because Panico came on board with us, we have a couple bean boards. We have 4 bean bags with holes in the bean boards, and we have 2 contestants from our program, drawn from our program, and the closest ones who are in the hose, they get a pizza of their choice whenever they want it. They go down there, preferably on a Sunday afternoon, take a big family with them, and enjoy their pizza. But this promotion is first time Panico had a shot. It looks like we have a couple of one young fella, one young lady, and the young lady has got 2 bean bags closer to the hole. And it looks like this fella is going to outdo her. He got one through the hole. Yeah, Braden, it's a new promotion. It's going over very, very well. People like it. And, you don't go home empty-handed, and everybody's having fun. You can hear the people cheering for their favorite person. And, Braden, I'm supposed to have one of 2 interviews up here. One of the players that's sitting out a suspension for the Cubs. It's not helping matters either. He's a go-getter. He's Cody's brother. He's a go-getter, and he's serving right now a major penalty for three games. And with his coming back Friday, he'll be back Friday, and hopefully he comes back up here. He's in the dressing room right now, Braden, but hopefully he comes up and sees us.
Yeah, we'll try and have that interview in a few moments' time. In the meantime, we will take a quick break. I'm Braden Malsbury, and joining me in the booth tonight is Blake Foster. You're listening to Cubs Hockey on Ustream.
Cal comes up to all your room very fast.
Back here at the Kinplex, Sunbury to Mulsbury, joined in the broadcast booth by Cubs assistant general manager Blake Foster. The Cubs heading into this third period down 5-0. The Generals with a big second, scoring 3 goals, and Blake, a pretty big hole for the Cubs to come back from.
It's huge, Braden. It's very huge. If they do climb out this hole, of course, Schaefer's not in the net as I expected. I think we're just going to play it out to see what we can learn out of this game.
Yes, and the Cubs will have to keep level-headed. They do not need any more suspensions, no doubt about it, as they flip it to center. Keegan Bartram now into Cochrane's zone. He shoots, and Iverson comes up with a save, as the speedy Keegan Bartram was able to come in and get a good scoring opportunity. And it is Tanner Pruden now in net here for the Medicine Hat Cubs in this third period, as Cole Schaefer going to take the rest of the night off. You can't really fault Schaefer, though, as he made a number of good scoring opportunities, but the Generals had a lot of power play chances, and they capitalized. As Packard flips it off the boards to center. It's Solowski, the captain, chipping it into Cubs territory. Galpo throws it off the half wall to Bartram. It's Cody Florkowski at center, a 3-on-2 for the Cubs. Florkowski gonna go in, he shoots, and he just misses the net. Cody Florkowski pulled the trigger, but it sails over the net of Iverson, as the Cubs come out with a lot of speed here in the third period. Packard loses control. It's Marshall centering, broken up by Solowski. And it's Bartram charging hard, and Iverson made a stop, but the Generals going to get it out of their own zone as Packard ships it up to center for Dove as he chases after it. Patrick Dove centered, and Pruden going to hang on as no one was available, but he wanted to get the whistle, with 18:33 left here in the third period. We're going to have a face-off to the left of Tanner Pruden, who comes into this hockey game. Mayer shipping it over there. No one was available, and the Cubs start out of their own zone. They're at center. It's Brandon Stahl. He's got McGuire. Stahl shoots, and Iverson going to hang on. Got caught up in his arm, but he will hang on as the Cubs with a lot of speed, as I mentioned, in this third period. As they trail 5-0, they're going to need to get something going here early. Stahl went to draw Stevenson with the shot. And Iverson going to hang on. That was going wide of the net, but he decided to hang on as the Cochrane Generals going to make a wholesale line change to get some fresh legs on the ice. As Stahl wins the draw to Stevenson, who shoots again. Iverson makes a pad stop. It's now at the half wall. Mayer charging in. And the Generals have it at their own blue line. It's Nathan Granito. Throw it back to the point. Broken up by McGuire, who goes behind the net to Cole Stevenson. McGuire behind the net of Iverson. Centering there for Stevenson. He shoots. And Iverson comes up with a dandy of a save to keep the Cubs off the scoreboard, and he's been great all night long.
And he has, Braden. He's been sharp. He sees the puck. But, you know, there's a little spark left in the Cubs. They're hammering at the door, Braden.
The Cubs get a scoring chance there. Steve O'Nabigan fighting for control with Packard. Coldade comes in there to help him out, but it's Packard winning the battle. Flipping it to the center ice. It goes all the way down, and Pruden is going to decide to hang on to it, as he had a Cochrane player coming in. I believe that was Sayer McDonald, who has a goal here tonight. Face off to the left of Tanner Pruden. It's going to be Daniel Bunna lining up with Ben Fury. Bunna wins the draw. In the corner, Austin Gallipo is fighting for possession at the goes back to the point for the Generals. They fire it in. Puck at the half wall. The Cubs trying to clear the zone. Dorian Bernhardt cannot get a handle on it. Comes to center for Kyler Goldade. Goldade all by himself. Against 3 Cochrane players, he loses the battle, and the Generals have it at center. It's Tyler Nielsen firing, and Pruden makes the stop. A rebound there, and the Cubs cannot clear the zone. Corey Gosen centering, and they cannot convert on the scoring opportunity. Ben Fury couldn't jam it out of his own zone, and the Cochrane Generals scoring as Corey Gosen was able to get the puck in the slot area and fires. And the Cochrane Generals take a commanding 6-0 lead. Kind of a weird bounce. And the Cubs even in a bigger hole than they were entering the frame, now down by 6.
Well, Braden, it wasn't Pruden's fault. You know, it was just one of those things again. The Cochrane Generals were the right place at the right time, and he hit wide open net goal.
Assist by number 27, Matthew Cup. Time of goal, 3:17.
And the Cochrane Generals scoring again, was just getting the official scoring summary on the last goal, but they find the back of the net again, and it's 7-0. Not what the Cubs were looking for heading into this third period.
Well, Braden, like you said, it's a big hole to climb out of, and we got no legs left, and the boys just, are they giving up? I hope not.
Yes, absolutely, as Florkowski is fighting there with Gosen at the center ice area. And it was Corey Gosen again scoring. The assist going to Patrick Dove, and that made it 7-0. The Cubs going to be needing a huge miracle here tonight to get the victory. Down 7 goals with 16 minutes left in this hockey game. As Cody Florkowski has it at center, across the Cochrane blue line, drops it off. There first, Marshall, who fired. Iverson coming up with the save. It's Bartram now behind the net of Iverson. Puck goes into the corner, goes back to the point for Dorian Bernhardt, who fires. And the Cochrane Generals with the puck at center, goes into the penalty box area. That is going to be a whistle with 15:30 left here in the third period.
It's going to be a long period, Braden. I wouldn't want to be coaching that bench right now. It's going to be a long period.
Yeah, I've been in situations like this myself back in my playing days, and it's not fun. That is for sure. As Solowski fires, and it is going to be Tanner Pruden hanging on to get another whistle. And the Cubs 22 shots on net tonight, but they have not been able to solve. Iverson face off to the left of Pruden. Solowski loses the draw to Stevenson. The Cubs trying to get something going here and get themselves on the scoreboard and have a hope of getting back into this hockey game. As they will clear the zone, Sean McGuire feeds it up there for Stevenson at the blue line. Fighting for possession along the Cochrane bench, and Tanner Mayer with a big hit on Brett Burnt. Pruden rings it around the boards for McGuire. Chasing after it will be Stevenson, but McGuire was looking for Stevenson at center. He was not able to connect as Pruden sets it up behind his own net for Cam Stock. Stock flips it to center for Stevenson. He cannot get a handle on it. The Cubs looking pretty tired in this third period already.
They sure do, Braden. They do look tired, and well, let's put it this way: they only had 2 practices in the last game we had. We had 1 game canceled. Yeah, and it was pretty tough to get ice time. We had a ringette tournament here, and yeah, the boys are pretty tired, but we'll be in shape for next Friday's game against Codale, Braden.
Face off to the right of Tanner Pruden. It's done firing, sails wide of the net. Austin Gallipo behind the net of Tanner Pruden. Gallipo going to come out of his own zone. Some fancy moves from the big defenseman. Gallipo elects to backhands it into Cochrane's zone. O'Nabigan with the puck. He dishes for Kyler Goldade. Stephen Abigan fighting for possession. Gallipo keeps it in at the blue line, and he takes a big hit. And it's the Generals. Bunna firing. Hits a stick and goes wide of the net. Bunna centers there for McDonald. Cannot pull the trigger. Bunna keeping it in, and Gallipo throws a big hit, or actually a punch on the Cochrane player, Tallis Hume. The referee did not call a penalty, and I was quite surprised about that, as Gallipo with kind of a sucker punch, but luckily for the Cubs, they do not go to the penalty box.
Well, the referee wasn't in the right spot at the right time, Braden. He didn't see it at all.
Yes, and that happens sometimes when you got the one referee system, as they normally do here in the Heritage Junior League. Face-off just outside the Cubs blue line. Florkowski wins the draw back to the point for Tanner Mayer. Mayer, the veteran on this Cubs team, flipping it into Cochrane territory. It's going to be Keller. Dishing there for Sarah McDonald to Craig Packard. Packard looking for Brandon Dove, who's chasing after it now into Cubs territory as Mayer throws a big hit on Tallis Hume. Those two jostling for position. Dove centering, was looking for Bergman, but it was broken up by Cam Stock. Florkowski takes a hit, and Mayer is going to clear it out. He finds Josh Marshall, who hooks up with Keegan Bartram. Bartram dishes for Florkowski, is in across the Cochrane blue line. That's going to be offside, so they will have to tag up. As Bartram fires, and Iverson comes up with a glove save. Cody Florkowski exchanging some words now with Patrick Dove, as the Cubs will make a line change during this stoppage of play with 12:48 left in the third. The Cubs still down 7-0.
Well, Braden, Cody's got to watch his P's and Q's, because we need him for Friday's game, and we don't need any suspension, especially the last 10 minutes of this period.
And the Cubs score off the face-off. It's Dorian Bernhardt with the clapper, and the Cubs are on the board. It's 7-1. Just a big face-off win there, and Dorian Bernhardt pulled the trigger, and he beats Iverson, and just like that, the Cubs getting their first goal of this hockey game to make it 7-1. Looks like it was Dorian Bernhardt getting the marker. We'll get the official scoring summary here for you shortly, as he let a high heater go, and it beat the goaltender Iverson. And it was Stevenson actually with the goals. Bernhardt with the initial shot, getting the assist. And Stahl will pick up another assist on that. The Cubs down 7-1 now, 12:15 left as Bernhardt winds up. Iverson makes a save. McGuire swats away at it. And the puck now comes to center. Austin Gallipo now at his own blue line. And the Cochrane Generals will go offside. So maybe that goal can motivate the Cubs, and maybe they can have a better end to this hockey game than they were looking for.
Well, I tell you, Braden, it's still a big hill to climb. You're right. Maybe it will throw a fire under a couple of guys' feet. But yes, I guess you're right. It'll motivate them a little bit.
Puck now in Cubs territory. It's Tanner Mayer throwing it off the boards, and Keller couldn't keep it in. Ben Fury, he's got Goldade. Goldade shoots, sails just wide of the net. The Cubs with a lot of speed after that goal by Cole Stevenson. It's Mayer deep in Cochrane territory. Cam Stock at the point, throws it to the front of the net. Fury's there, he cannot pull the trigger on the rebound. Ben Fury almost scoring a goal, but it was bobbling a little bit, and he cannot get a handle on it. Puck now at center. Cam Stock with a big hit on Tyler Nielsen at the penalty box, as the Generals control the play in Cubs territory, but the Cubs, they will turn it over in the slot area. McRae almost able to get a goal there. As Mayer comes out of his own zone, he finds Kyler Goldade. Ben Fury now with the puck at center. He cannot control play, and the Generals get the puck at center now. It's Logan Brown dancing into Cubs territory. Brown was centering. No one was available. He was looking for Patrick Dove. Back to the point for Bunna. Goes cross ice for Kreigel. He shoots in. Tanner Pruden gonna hang on with 10:38 left here in the third period. The Cubs still trailing this hockey game by a count of 7-1.
But Braden, I'm taking a look at the shot clock up there. The Cubs are still out shooting them 25-23.
Yes, and Iverson has been the reason for that, as he has come up with several great saves here tonight as Cody Florkowski takes a tumble into the boards. He gets right back up. He's a tough customer. As Josh Marshall has the puck at center, he hits Bergman, and Bartram going to start at center. He dishes to Austin Gallipo at the Cochrane blue line. Austin Gallipo walking in, finds Josh Marshall, and the Cubs score! It takes a weird bounce, and not quite sure who got that one, but the Cubs get a lucky one. Beats Iverson for the beating Iverson for the second time this period. And
well,
just
Braden,
like that,
you said, it took a weird bounce, but the Cochrane Generals, they had some three of those first goals that they had. They were all good breaks, big breaks.
and it looks like there has been a timeout called for the Cochrane Generals, as they're just going to settle the troops. 2 quick goals. So it was Keegan Bartram getting the goal for the Medicine Hat Cubs. The assist going to Josh Marshall. And that kind of fooled me as well, Blake, from our point here. Just looked like the Cubs threw it out front, and before we knew it, it was in the back of the net.
It was, and it just like skipping the scotch. Like you said, had a weird bounce there, and it was enough power to go behind the goaltender.
Yeah, I did not really know where the puck was during that play, but the Cubs scoring 2 quick ones here to cut the deficit to 5. As Austin Gallipo comes out of his own zone, he's at center, ships it for Bartram, who just scored a short moment to go for the Medicine Hat Cubs. He takes a hit. Puck now deep in Cochrane territory. It's Gallipo walking up front for Bartram, but the Cubs cannot get it done. Bernhardt keeps it in at the point, rings it around the boards. It's going to be Gallipo keeping it in. Side steps to avoid the hit as Cody Florkowski, the captain, has it in the corner. Going to go for a skate, was looking there for Bartram. He found him. Josh Marshall at the side of the net was looking for Florkowski. Puck now in the slot, but it's the Generals coming away with it. It's Solowski, a 2-on-1. He's got Nielsen. Solowski shoots, sails wide of the net, hits the glass and hits the mesh and goes out of play with 9:10 left here in the third period. And once again, it's the Cochrane Generals looking very dangerous. That timeout seemed to help them a bit.
I did. It kind of settled them down a little bit, but the odd man went rush. Instead of shooting it, he had a wide open man.
Face off to the blocker side of Schaefer as Cam Stock ships it in the corner for Tanner Mayer. Puck now at the half wall. The Generals need to tag up because they would be caught on the offside as Cole Stevenson comes across the Cochrane blue line, dancing into Cochrane territory rather, but he loses the puck, goes back to the point for Tanner Mayer. Flips it in the corner. Stevenson and McGuire fighting for possession with Matt Dunn. Dunn has it, ships it off the half wall, and it's going to be Stahl keeping it in. He finds McGuire. McGuire takes a hit from Kreigel. Puck goes now to the other corner, and it is Brett Burnt throwing it along the boards. Can't get it out of his zone. And McGuire centers. No one was available in front of the net of Iverson as the Generals throw it all the way down the ice. And that is going to be good enough for icing. The Cubs down 7-2 with 8:13 left here in the third period. And Blake, it's just one of those games for the Cubs where you just want to hope that the rest of this period just goes by real fast.
Yeah, I agree with you, Braden, and no more penalties and no more suspensions. If we can get this one over with, you're right. Let's get it over with.
As the Cubs trying to keep it into Cochrane territory, Andrew Bergman at the blue line. He dishes for Gosen. Gosen cross ice to Dove. Dove cross ice to Bergman, and he cannot pull the trigger. Bergman almost with a good goal there, but he cannot convert as puck goes all the way down at the Cochrane territory. Iverson gonna hang on with 7:50 left here in the third period. The Cubs still down by 5 goals as we will have a face-off to the left of Garrett Iverson. Fury in the dot for the Cubs. Loses the draw to Gosen. Fury now walking in the slot, backhanded. Iverson comes up with another sensational blocker save here in this hockey game. And boy, oh boy, Austin Gallipo with a huge hit on, I believe that was Patrick Dove at the blue line, and we've seen it all season long. Gallipo not afraid to throw the body around.
No, he isn't, Braden, but you know what? His head was down, and he was playing the puck, and he didn't see Gallipo over there.
As Bunna fires as he picked it off, the Cubs cannot clear the zone. It's now at the Cochrane blue line. Bergman dishes for Dove, who finds Bunna at the Cubs blue line. Bunna to Bergman. He shoots, and Pruden challenges him and makes the save. Gets caught up in his pads. He's going to hang on with 6:56 left in the third. You're listening to Cubs Hockey on Ustream, a presentation made possible by our good friends over at the Beefeater Steakhouse. Autos are less, and the Medicine Hat Lodge. Face off to the left of Tanner Pruden. It's Florkowski. Was not able to get a handle on it, but the Cubs come away with it. Cam Stock throws it all the way down the ice. Not good enough for icing. Matt Dunn can't clear the zone, having some issues as he has a few Cubs on him. Cody Florkowski spins. Gives it to Bartram. Bartram trying to walk out front, but it's the Generals who get the puck. And now it's Cam Stock going after it, and that will be icing. So we will do this all over again, and looks like, the Cubs are maintaining their cool right now, Blake. They're not getting into any extracurricular activities after whistles.
No, they're not. Guarantee that Jason warned them that if they take any bad penalties, that, hey, the bench is there for them.
Yes, for sure, as Florkowski gets pasted along the boards. He was not too happy about that. The puck now at center. It's Cody Florkowski. Cross ice to Bartram. Into the Cochrane territory. Bartram at the Cochrane half wall. Flips it for Cody Florkowski. Looking for someone out front. It's Mayer shooting. Iverson comes up with a save. Tanner Mayer was pinching. He got a good scoring chance as Cody Florkowski hammers Packard, but Florkowski falls down, able to stick handle on his knee. Centering there for Bartram, who gets cross-checked in front of the net. And it looks like the Cochrane General is going to be heading to the penalty box as Keegan Bartram took a vicious cross-check. And you can't do that, Blake.
Yeah, Braden, I heard... It's funny, but it's not funny. Cody's mom was hollering at him, Cody, keep your hands down. Keep your hands down. Yeah, he's going to have a cool head because we need him for Friday.
So the Cubs going to go to work on the power play for 2 minutes or less. 5:49 left here in the third period. And Jason Bartram going to be calling a timeout for his squad as they will try to draw something up, get a plan going forward for this power play in the late stages of this hockey game. The Cubs still in a massive hole, but they had 2 quick ones, so maybe they can get 2 quick ones here and we can have ourselves quite the finish here at the Kinplex.
Yeah, we could. Jason draws up a plan here, and he is, I say, he's given some instructions. Jason's a coach that he never gives up. He'll fight right to the end, and his troops know that, and they're gathering themselves up. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we put in a couple of goals here.
So a face-off to the right of Garrett Iverson, and it will be Cody Florkowski into the face-off dot, squaring off with the captain for the Cochrane Generals, Tyson Solowski. Florkowski wins the draw, dishes it back to the point. Florkowski at the half wall. Goes behind the net for Bartram. Florkowski Back to Bartram, who loses control behind the net. Gallipo is pinching to keep it in. He does just that. Gallipo looking for the puck. Florkowski's there. He finds Bartram, who's in the corner. Bartram, a little give and go, and it looks like the Pruden's on the bench, and the General's going to get another penalty here. So we're going to go 5-on-5. The Cubs with 6 players on the ice. As Solowski blocked a shot and got a whistle, a high sticking minor. And it will be, I believe that we'll get an official penalty on that in just a minute. Logan Brown heading to the sin bin. So the Cubs, 5-on-3, late stages of this game, 5:14 left. You'd have to think they'd love to get a goal right now. As Marshall goes cross ice back to Gallipo. Gallipo, he finds Florkowski, back to Gallipo. Gallipo, cross ice there for Bernhardt, and they score! Dorian Bernhardt with a high heater, and it looks like someone was in front to get a tip, or it might have hit a body, but it's a 7-3 game.
It's not over yet there, Braden. That was a good shot. Yeah, it did hit somebody's stick, but, you know, it's food the goaltender, and that's what you want to do is fool that goaltender.
Yes, absolutely. The Cubs with 29 shots on net, and Iverson, he's been great, but they got a lot of traffic in front. And when you do that, good things will happen, as they say. And it was Dorian Bernhardt getting the goal there. The assist going to Austin Gallipo and Cody Florkowski. So the Cubs now just with a 4-goal deficit, 4:35 left, still on the power play, as they were on a 5-on-3 when they scored that last one as Marshall fires. Puck comes loose. They still blow the whistle. Some pushing and shoving behind the net of Garrett Iverson, and another solid play by the Cubs. So it looks like, that timeout was well worth it.
Yeah, it definitely did. It worked. They listened to the coach. One thing now is Cody's got to have a cool head. I seen he was pushing her out there again, but he's got to have a cool head.
Puck goes all the way down the ice to Tanner Pruden. Pruden throws it to Cam Stock. Puck now at center to Sean McGuire. He misplays it. And Tyler Nielsen was able to find Burnt, who fired, and Pruden came up with the save. Brandon Stahl ships it up to Sean McGuire. McGuire, he's got Stevenson and Stahl. McGuire looking back to the point, hits something and goes into the corner. McGuire had done on him, and it's Stevenson fighting for possession. He finds McGuire. He's got Stock out front. McGuire behind the net, looking for the pass out front, and Stahl shoots and hits a body. Here's Stock now at the point, 20 seconds left on the man advantage. McGuire dishes to the side net for Stevenson, looking cross ice, but it's the Generals coming away with the puck as Cam Stock looked like he wanted to drop the mitts as Stahl has the puck into Cochrane territory. And that is going to do it for the Cubs power play as Tanner Mayer loses control. Puck was stripped. Tyson Solowski walking in. Solowski behind the net of Tanner Pruden. It's Ian McRae shooting, and it is Pruden making the stop. Actually make that Tyler Nielsen. Puck goes all the way down the ice, and that will be good enough for icing and some more extracurriculars here at the Kinplex, Blake.
Yes, there has been. And, I've been looking at that shot clock again. I don't know why I'm watching it, but, 29 shots for the Cubs and 26 for the Generals. We should be out ahead of there.
Yes, absolutely. But Iverson has stood on his head tonight. No denying that fact. Face off to the right of Tanner Pruden, deep in Cubs territory. Gallipo with the puck. Going to come out of his own zone, but it's picked off, and the Generals could not keep it into Cubs territory, rather, as Keller dishes it off, and the Cubs pick it up once again. And Austin Gallipo looks like he wanted to go with Tyson Solowski, as Gallipo will be heading to the sin bin. The referee caught that one, and Austin Gallipo probably not too pleased with himself with that penalty he just took.
No, I don't think he'd be pleased with it, but there was one of two. Charging, interference, one of the two. He didn't say, but go ahead, Braden.
Yeah, Gallipo is just leaving the ice. He's being tossed from this game. That will be he was having words with the Cochrane players. So we will see what happens with this to see what the penalty situation is going to be. Obviously the Cubs going to be shorthanded as Kyler Goldade will be in to serve the penalty. Just a 2-minute minor and probably maybe a 10-minute for Gallipo. Not quite sure. We'll figure it out here in a few moments' time as Keller keeps it in at the point. Dishes for Solowski. Back to Keller. Keller fired and Packard's there. Centers for Bergman. Cannot pull the trigger. Packard centering once again. He shoots and Bergman scores. It was Craig Packard throwing it to the front of the net. A rebound there for the big man, Andrew Bergman. I think that's his thing. As the Cochrane Generals not done filling the back of the net with pucks here tonight, as it's now an 8-3 game.
Yeah, Braden, it's 8-3. A big hill is getting bigger now. But number 20, Duran, that went off his stick. He kind of fan on it, and you got to give it credit to the Cubs for that one.
Plenty of goals here in the third period, no question about it. 6 goals to be exact in this frame. As Keegan Bartram has it into Cochrane territory. Bartram centers. Puck was bouncing, but the Cubs cannot convert. As the biscuit is now at center, it's Cody Florkowski back into his own zone. He finds Cam Stock. Bartram going to come out of his own zone, fires it off the boards. Comes to center for Granito. He lost control. And it was done firing it off the wall into Cubs territory. Comes back to center. Josh Marshall loses possession. Nathan Granito walking in. Granito into Cubs territory. Fans on the shot. But the Generals were able to get a shot away as it was Talasum firing, but Pruden comes up with the stop. With just 1:05 left here in this third and final period, that is going to do it here tonight. The Cubs not winning this hockey game, down 5 goals right now. So the Cochrane Generals going to skate out of here tonight with 2 points, as Iverson is going to hang on and get the whistle in the late stages of this game. So the Cochrane Generals lost a tough one last night in the shootout out in Okotoks, but they're going to get the win here tonight, so they have to be happy about that.
Yeah, they got to be happy over that. They went home on the bus last night and wee hours the morning, and they didn't get a chance to get on the bus until late this afternoon, and they're sure not a tired-looking group to me.
Absolutely, as McGuire fights for control with the puck. Puck comes to the half wall, goes to center there for Tyler Nielsen, who was chasing after it. It's down into Cochrane territory now. It's going to be Keller shipping it up to center. Austin Keller. And the Cochrane Generals now with a good scoring opportunity. Tyler Nielsen shoots, and Pruden got a piece of it as a Cochrane player was dumped after the play. A cross-checking penalty to the veteran Tanner Mayer, which is 9.7 seconds left. The Cubs down 8-3, and that looks like that. It will be the final score here tonight at the Kinplex. A face-off now to the left of Tanner Pruden. It will be Corey Gosen lining up with Brandon Stahl. Stahl wins the draw. The Cubs going to ring it around the boards, and that is going to do it here tonight at the Kinplex as the Medicine Hat Cubs lose 8-3. Not the effort they wanted here tonight, but when you take a lot of penalties and you got a team like Cochrane who's quite speedy, they are going to capitalize on opportunities, as Cody Florkowski exchanging some words at the end of this game. I don't think he's too thrilled with the Cochrane Generals here tonight. And looks like nothing's going to come of that. as the Generals and Cubs will skate off the ice. Looks like they just wanted to shake hands a bit, but the referees were kind of in there, as Florkowski and Bergman kind of laughing after this game. But Blake, the Cubs going to have to look to bounce back when they take on Coaldale, no question.
They sure do. And Jason is not going to shy away from this. He, in fact, talking about Jason, he's going to be up here for a little bit of an interview. Like it or not, he's going to come up. He's a good sportsman. Bear with us, folks. He's going to be here in about 5 minutes after he talks to his troops. But you're right. They got something to work on. They got a big, heavy practice Tuesday. And then they go at it again next Thursday. And then Friday is a big game.
Yes, of course, Friday, the Coaldale Copperheads making their way to the Kinplex. That is going to be, quite the tilt. We may see some little fights going on, and the Cubs going to have to kind of steer away from that, because you know what Coaldale's like. They're a physical team. They're not afraid to, play the body. They're not afraid to get maybe a little bit dirty after whistles.
No, you're right there. But Braden, one thing about the game on Friday, they're going to be short of 3 bodies that I know of, plus the coach is going to be out of the game. Maybe that would be enough to culture the rest of the team, and that's probably what the Cubs are looking forward to.
Yeah, when you can go up against, a depleted roster, it certainly helps. We've seen a big rivalry develop over the years between Medicine Hat and Coaldale, and it's always fun to check out that game. But the Cubs just want to head into that contest with a level head and just get some early goals in that contest, and hopefully for them skate away with the victory. Maybe kind of put them away early, and hopefully they're able to get the 2 points and get back in the win column, as the Cubs have now lost 2 straight.
Yes, they have 2 straight, and how close we are. The Cubs now are in last spot, but only by 2 points. So, that's how close our Southern Division is, Braden.
Yeah, the Cubs, as you mentioned, losing here tonight. Their record slipping to 8-9-1 on the season. And they were looking for the 2 points tonight, could not get it, as they found themselves in that early hole, down 3-0, and then all of a sudden it was 5-0. And when you get into situations like that, it's really, really tough to claw back no matter what hockey team you are.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I see Jason, he just went into the dressing room. It is tough to crawl back. But, the boys kept their heads, and there was no more suspensions. I believe there will only be, it looks like 1 for sure, but never a lot. You can't use excuses, and I'm using one tonight as we speak. The boys are tired. They didn't have the whole roster practicing with them. Like we were saying, Marshall, he's working in Red Deer, and he can't make any practice. That hurts. That's got to hurt a player. I don't know about you, Braden, but if you missed any practices, how were you the next game?
Well, I never really missed practices, Blake. So I mean.
Oh, okay.
No. Sometimes I would miss. We used to have outdoor practices because there was not really a lot of ice sometimes available in Red Deer. So sometimes I'd miss those because when I was a young kid, I used to have asthma. So the cold weather, it just didn't really work out for me. The cold weather practices. So sometimes you'd miss those, but. Yeah, it's always good to get a practice in, feel some shots and, try and make as many saves as you can as a goaltender in practice. You don't want to have a bad practice or warm-up and then head into a hockey game. And it's never a good feeling when you don't really have a good practice. But as far as a player is concerned, it's always nice to get on the ice. In a practice, maybe you have a little bit of rust that you can wear off. But, maybe in a hockey game where you go in without a practice and maybe takes you a couple periods to get back up to speed. Plus, you may not be aware of, what happened with practice when it comes to certain drills that, may have been going on, maybe certain strategies. You didn't have a chance to maybe work on the power play or the penalty kill as much as you would have liked. But, it's not great when you miss any time on the ice, no question.
No, you're right. And it looked like it tonight. There's a couple players. One player comes to my mind, Funk. Funk is desperately needed on this club. Yes, we got some good talent out there. We got some lightning, jet fast boys out there, but there's a couple of bodies that we could use out there, and Funk is one of them. And I understand that Punk will be at Friday's game. Again, he's going to be sluggish. He's missed quite a few practices, as you know, Braden, and it's gonna make a difference out there.
Yeah, and maybe injecting Funk back into the lineup can certainly maybe motivate this Cub hockey club. They're on a bit of a losing streak right now, but maybe if he can get back in the lineup, that can maybe do some positive things for this team. Maybe just the mental aspect that they know he's back in the lineup and he is very dangerous, one of the most dangerous hockey players in this Heritage Junior Hockey League, and maybe he can spark this club.
Yes, and I'm hoping that just happens to us. He is one of the fastest players on our squad. We've had some drills and some little bit of scrimmages, and Funk is the fastest player on our squad.
Yes, as we will hope to talk with Jason Bartram. It'd be interesting heading into Friday's game. Who gets a start in net? Will it be Cole Schaefer or Tanner Pruden? Pruden looked all right, I thought, coming into that game after being a little bit cold, sitting off for the first two.
Well, watching Pruden from game to game, and he hasn't played a lot of games, but he's played 5 or 6 of them that I've seen. And Pruden is better goaltender when he comes in cold. He's focused on the game for some reason. That boy, if it was me, I'd play him the third period every time I had a chance. But here comes Jason, the coach from Medicine Hat Cubs, and of course, Jason, don't hang your head down because the troops really finished a good game. Your thoughts on the game, Jason?
You know what? It's you're never happy after a loss, but you know what? I got some big players sitting in the stands not playing. We haven't played in 3 weeks, so those things happen when you've been sitting idle for 20 days. We don't expect to come out here and win by 6 goals tonight.
No, Jason, but unfortunately, we have a long layover. One of the trips was interrupted because of a storm. Then we had a couple practices, but it didn't help either. Our facilities weren't available for the boys for any extra practices. I guess I'm not looking for excuses, Jason, but all those things tied together. Funk's not with us at this time. Players like him, his speed, it's missed.
Yeah, and I mean I don't know if it's excuses rather than it's fact. And we don't have your top 3. La Rochelle's out, Paul Vamacker is out, Funk's out. For us, I give kudos to the guys on the bench. I mean, we've got guys on our bench that we've had over 70 lost man games already. So we've got guys on the bench that are playing extra minutes, different positions, and for any of us to hang our head when we're 18 games into the season and we're right in the thick of things with our team. I mean, you can only do so much with what you've got and the guys that we've got right now that are going to bat every day and trying and I guess pretty much keeping the Cubs team head above water. Kudos to them. We just got to get these other guys back in the lineup. We got to get them skating and if we get a full lineup back, we'll be fine.
And you're 100% right. Braid and I were talking shortly before you came here about the troops. I'm not ashamed of the Cubs at all tonight with what you had, and let's take our hats off to the fellas that did work hard tonight. You had a good